Welcome everybody to the Eclipse of Fire Podcast. I'm your host, Creative Temporary, and we got a busy one today. We'll be talking about my thoughts on Batwoman and what are my thoughts on the movie Detective Pikachu. So sit back, relax, and let the madness begin.
Not about to let a man take credit for a woman's work.
So I've seen the Batwoman trailer a few times already in preparation for this podcast, and I do have some things I want to say about what I think about it, but just know before I go further, I do not know anything about Batwoman in comics or in other media. In fact, I thought the only Batwoman was Batgirl, who is Barbara Gordon. This is, in fact, a new story with a new person as the titular Batwoman. And I'm going into this completely blank. I do not know anything. And at the same time, I feel that's a good thing because this show should try to bring in people who don't know the story while also bringing in people who do know it, getting everyone together. That's the plan. But based on the trailer, the only thing I was able to do was kind of let people agree this wasn't a good trailer. And hopefully it doesn't mean it's not a great show, because I always have a theory that sometimes trailers don't represent the product. And I generally believe that. But if the show's like the trailer, then oh boy. So there's certain points I want to get in here. First, it's colorless. Watching the trailer, it's dark. I get it. It's in the Batman universe. But they're using black, gray, and blue for almost all of their shots. And while I do understand because they are in the Batman universe, it doesn't necessarily mean they can do it all the time. Yes, Batman is dark, but there's also points where they can make it colorful, make colors pop, set the mood with colors. They can use colors in the show. They can use colors in the cartoon. They can do that. This trailer makes everything dark, makes everything drab, makes everything feel bleak. And I don't want that because that means we're probably getting a product that's too serious. And I don't want that for Batman. I mean, yes, he is serious, but at the same time, there are points for comic relief. There are points where everything can breathe and go slow. Here, it makes it as if everything is dark, everything is drab, everything is hopeless in a sense. And I don't want that. Another point I like to bring up is that some of the dialogue felt stilted and cliched, especially from the villain's perspective. Like, I do not know what her name is, but I can just feel she's kind of boring. Like, some of the lines she said, I feel other villains have said in other products, and it just didn't make it feel like she was, like, this main villain. If anything, this is probably an only episode villain. Like, she's going to be there for one episode, while the bigger villain's in the background. And maybe I'm wrong, okay? Maybe they're just showing certain points so they don't give out spoilers, but at the same time, they didn't show anything good that can make me feel she's a legitimate threat, you know? There's certain points where that's the case, but I think when it comes to cringy lines, it's for Ruby Rose's character who plays Batwoman. There are two lines in here where she says, and I quote, in referring to the Batman suit, to which Batman's guard says it's perfect, she says, it will be when if it's a woman. And in the scene where a little girl mistakes her for Batman, she says, I'm not about to let a man take credit for a woman's work. Whew, God. First off, I don't feel that's something that will ever be said in Batman, or at least if it was, then they'll have to make it smarter than this, because she literally said it in referring to a suit and to a little girl's mistake. Second, I feel these lines, they don't have to exist. Like, if anything, they could have cut these out and they wouldn't be missed. She could literally said something else as opposed to this, and will fit much better than these lines. That's just my opinion about it, though. I'll go into more detail a bit longer down the line, but the trailer did have a range of cringy lines in there that I haven't gotten to, but I feel you've seen, and you can put what you thought were cringy lines down in the description below. And finally, the music playing, it didn't really feel like it was for a Batman universe story. If anything, and this is a thing that spoke me the most, why would they play pop music over a superhero show? Like, why wouldn't they play cinematic music to represent who the heroes are? Like, even Gotham has had moments where they played cinematic music over certain scenes. Like, they actually got an orchestra. They got people to play instruments for it. Why couldn't they do the same for this? Why do they have to go with generic pop music for this show? They could have gone with anything to represent, like, classic era Batman. Like, I keep saying Batman when it's Batwoman, but at the same time, this is in the Batman universe. And yes, I know it's different, but they should at least treat it as if it's set in that universe. Score music, settings, everything. It should feel like it takes place in Gotham, but I just feel it's in like a regular city, and it's not really a Batwoman show. It feels like a superhero show. It feels like a typical hero show they just slapped Batwoman's name on. Which sucks too, because I'm really open to the show, but at the same time, with all these faults, I can get why people don't want to watch it and are giving hate to the show already before it even aired. And it has led me to talk about this certain part. Using a fact that woman is playing Batman to set in stone what the show is about. There are 2 to 3 instances, depending on where you see it or how you see it, where they specifically bring up the fact that there's now a female Batman. And they shouldn't have to do that, considering this is a superhero show. Superheroes wear masks, and Stanley said it best: when you put on that mask, you can be anyone. You can be a man, you can be a woman, you can be black, you can be white, you can be Asian, you can be Latino, you can be anyone. And no one would really care because you're a hero. And nobody will bat an eye at that. But this show literally takes a hammer and hits you over the head with the fact that it's a woman playing Batman, and they shouldn't have to do that. There are certain there have been movies where they've done this better. Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman as major examples. They didn't have to use the fact that they were female in order to sell to people what their products are. They just had to be relatable and have an interesting story behind them and get people on their sides. They literally have to say it here, and you shouldn't have to do that. I honestly feel that Ruby Rose's character, who plays Batwoman, just shows up one day, says, "Batman's gone. I'm now the new Batman." And that's it. I do not feel any moment in this trailer where I can relate to her, or at the same time be on her side, because I don't know who she is. She's literally a blank slate in this trailer, and that's really upsetting for this show, because I'm 100% down with having a female superhero show, movie, comic, etc., as long as the characters are interesting. But if you're literally bashing over the head the themes of the show on the people who are watching it, it's going to turn people off from the product because they think it's just going to be that, as opposed to this action-packed show. That's what I really hate about this trailer, is them doing that. So, with all the cons here, you think this show is just going to be dead in the water already. Well, there's actually some pros here. And admittedly, I say some. There are only a couple points I actually like in this trailer. For starters, there's some genuinely good action here, like the Sonic takedowns when she's in her Batwoman costume already, and the fights in the hallway were really good to watch. And I am genuinely curious about the story. I haven't seen anything related to Batwoman now before, so I'm ending the series clean and ready to a new experience. If the trailer is different from the show, then it's totally misrepresenting the show. I'm not going to put any blame on Ruby Rose's part, because she genuinely seems happy playing the role, and I do want to support her in that role. And I'm not going to say anything bad about what she's doing, but just know that people who wrote about this, it makes it feel as if like she's this blank slate, when Ruby Rose is this amazing actress. And I do hope that at some point during the show, she brings this character to life, because in this trailer, I didn't feel anything, but in the show, if she would bring the character to life, I'll be 100% down and happy for it. In the end, would I watch it? Yeah, I would watch it, but only the first episode at the moment. If the series is good, I'll continue to watch it, but if it's not, then I'll drop it and I'll leave it where it is. Sure, people will like it, and I get that, but there's also going to be people who hate it, and I'm not really in the spot to tell people what to do. If you like the show when it comes out, good for you. If you don't like it, okay. In the end, it's your opinion alone. As for me, the trailer just makes it look like this isn't a good show. But hopefully in the next few months, we're going to have content come out that's related to the show, and I'll really make the trailer look like shit compared to what else is going to come. And I'm holding out optimism right now. Whatever happens, happens, but in the end, only time will tell if Batwoman really is the next big thing on the CW.
Get him! He's barely moving.
Don't tell him that.
Oh, he's on a bike. Quick, get in front of him.
Stop.
Oh, no. He's going down hard, Tim. Should have worn a helmet.
So on the lighter side of things, I actually watched Detective Pikachu not too long ago, and it's an amazing movie. Seriously, I had fun throughout the entire time there. I was laughing, I was emotional. I was just happy being there for what will ultimately be history, because this is currently the highest rated video game movie of all time. Like, critics love it, audiences love it, everyone's loving Detective Pikachu, and for very good reason. There's just so many things right about this movie I'm going to get into very soon. But for right now, I have to give you my own personal opinion on the matter. When I went to my theater, it was literally all ages. There was a family with like 2 parents and 2 small children, a group of friends who I think were in high school, and a group of friends who I think were in their 20s. This movie is able to bring a generation together to watch it, and I'm really happy for that. As for the approval ratings, it really is a popular movie. Like, critics are actually giving it a fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes as of right now. I think it was past 65 at the moment, but I could be wrong. I think the last time there was this much praise for a video game movie was for Mortal Kombat, and even looking back at that, it wasn't too much of a good movie. And I think the last time there was this much of a critic praise for a video game movie was for Rampage, which I automatically think is because The Rock was in it. Anyway, I really enjoyed the movie from beginning to end, and it feels like a game changer for what video game movies can do for Hollywood. Like, they can look at this and say, this is what we have to do. We have to send the example that Detective Pikachu made and make video game movies that are from the heart while also telling this whole big story. But we have to follow the source materials the best we can in order to represent what we're telling. On that note, when I first saw the Pokemon on screen for the first time, it was amazing. Like, it was this really emotional time seeing Pokemon in live action from when we first saw them in anime to now, and it was amazing. When I first saw Cubone, I nearly got teary-eyed seeing it. And I really hope we get more Pokemon movies out of this, because this is great. But okay, how about that a little bit later? Right now, what I like about the movie, for starters, there was actually an edge to it. This movie had a PG rating for something that would really be a G in general. And it's a very good reason. When you get Ryan Reynolds to voice Pikachu, you're getting Ryan Reynolds voicing Pikachu. Pikachu swore in this. He said hell, damn, all that. He had a knife. Seriously, Pikachu had a knife. I haven't been this shocked since I saw that Pokemon movie where Pikachu actually spoke to Ash. Anyway, I think the last movie that had a PG rating aimed at kids that swore like this was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in 1990. And, of course, it was the 90s. You can get away with pretty much anything. You can pretty much say a movie was PG if it was really an R. Like, if you've seen Airplane, you know what I mean. So, yeah, it's pretty cool seeing that edge for this type of movie. And if parents get upset, screw it. This is a fun movie. Like, your kids are going to get introduced to that either way. And why not have them get introduced to it with a furry little fuzzball? Anyway, funny moment is Ryan Reynolds, who is Deadpool, is a Pikachu. When he had his moment, I just kept thinking, this is still Deadpool voicing a kid's character. And I hope that if they do make Deadpool 3, which I really want them to, but based on the fact that Disney has canned the X-Men sequels, I don't know when we're going to get Deadpool 3. But if they do Deadpool 3, I want them to make a reference to Detective Pikachu. And Ryan Reynolds was really casted properly for this role. I'm happy for that, and I was expecting it, but at the same time, I'm happy it happened. Another funny moment was Pikachu trying to calm down Psyduck, which was also fun to see. I can tell there was a friendship there, and I really love to see more of that eventually. And that moment where Pikachu was singing the OG theme song, everyone in the theater was like, "What? What was happening?" And I'm emoting as much as I can, but just to say, people were shocked when that happened, and that does raise a question: was this an Easter egg, or does this confirm that Ash, Misty, Brock, and Team Rocket exist in the same universe some way? Was this their way of saying, yeah, Indigo League's canon here? Or was this just like a funny little nod to the original series? Who knows? Maybe we'll get some later when there's some eventual sequels. While there are a lot of good here, there are some cons that I can't really ignore. But they don't really ruin the movie. I just gotta say that this is what I thought of. Cons, I can tell who the villain was very early on in the movie. Like, there was some points where they talk about the bad guy before he comes out as a bad guy, and I think he's gonna turn. He is so the villain in this. And another con I wish we saw, which would have been interesting, was a Pokemon fight where all the humans who were turned into Pokemon try to fight against the Mewtwo who was destroying the city. It would have been really cool seeing them trying to use their powers to help save the city. It would have been cool seeing that, all them teaming up together to fight this one god. But we didn't. But hey, it doesn't mean it takes anything away. The movie's still fun to watch, and I'm definitely going to get the DVD when it comes out. And what do I think this can do for sequels down the line? Because it's been confirmed that there will be sequels to this movie, and I'm 100% down for sequels to this movie. Let there be a whole cinematic universe of Pokemon movies. Let them do that. I would pay money for that. I would support that every step of the way. But what could they do exactly? They could introduce familiar villains. Like I said, if the OG theme is a sign that Misty, Ash, Brock, and Team Rocket are canon in the universe, maybe in the sequel, they can encounter Team Rocket. There was an instance where that Y with the R does look like the R for Rocket. So I think it would be cool to have Team Rocket in these movies, like Jesse James live action. It would be awesome. It would be really cool is if for James they cast Andrew Reynolds, the guy from Book of Mormon, because if you don't know about this, he played James in the production of Pokemon Live, which was a stage musical in the early 2000s. So if they do that for him, everything will come full circle. I do not know who will play Jesse though, but that would be someone pretty badass to let that happen. But if they get Andrew for this, it will be awesome. It will be a funny nod to his past work. Another thing I think he can do for sequels is a new mystery that could have live action Ryan Reynolds on screen interacting with Pokemon during the duration of the movie. Over the time, we've just heard him, but in the sequel, he will be human, and I hope that he will interact with Pokemon on screen more than in the first movie. I really hope they do that. I really hope he does play a big part in it, but I want him to interact with the world around him as well. Another thing I think they can do for a sequel is a whole different story set in the same universe. They can make it like American Horror Story where it's in the same world, but can tell different stories along the way. Like, we got Detective Pikachu, but we follow a different set of characters, but that there be Easter eggs that shows this takes place in the same world as them. With that, anything can really happen, and you can make a Pokemon cinematic universe. And eventually, you can do this whole big team-up movie where all the characters team up to fight this one big bad guy. You can do this. You can be the next Marvel if you wanted to. There's so much potential for this series that you really can do that. And I really hope you take advantage of this however much you can. Overall, my final thoughts is that it was an amazing movie from start to finish, and it really fills me with childhood glee to see all these characters who I saw in drawings come to life in live action. And it really makes me wish that I was in that world. I really hope also that video game movies take notes and begins to get good thanks to this. And this sets off a whole new renaissance of video game movies are actually good. But hey, that's just me alone. And I'm pretty sure people will agree with me on that, though. In the end, Detective Pikachu, awesome movie, start to finish. Get the DVD, support everyone involved making it, and let's get more sequels happening along the way. So that's about it for today's episode of Eclipse of Fire Podcast. If you have any suggestions what we're going to talk about here, shoot me a tweet at ProductionsEOF or shoot me a comment down in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube. And let's keep the discussion civil if you want to continue talking about Batwoman or Detective Pikachu. I'm your host, Creative Temporary, and I'll see you guys next time.